you can go to Reiki or some other energy healing technique, and if you pay them enough money, after enough weekends, you'll get a certificate that says that you're a master. And people put that on their walls because they're not aware that a true master would never have a certificate on their wall that says that they're a master. Because master is within. It's not what's on the outside. The degree to which we wear the costumes, hang the certificates, say who and what we are and what we've accomplished is inversely proportionate. It's the opposite of how much we truly own that truth on the inside.
So you actually say everybody can receive this gift, but whether this gift will create or co-create healings with the universe, it depends on our state, whether we are attached to our ego expectations or not.
I'm pausing for a moment because there are so many places to come at that from. Everyone can learn how to do this work. Everyone will receive the gift. But some might not be able to utilize it because of the ego. There are only a few who dare to open their eyes, and many that do are blinded by what they see. Some people will come in and see the healings, observe, notice, and walk right out, say, this is for me. Others will talk themselves out of it. They'll imagine, they'll say, oh, well, it must be mass hypnosis. Well, if it is, I'm hypnotized too. Or they'll say, well, people's eyes and fingers and feet are moving because they're lying there on the table nervous, or they expect it. Well, then how come when the person is standing, who is standing, moves their hands differently, the body changes? The person who's lying down doesn't see what they're doing because their eyes are closed. So obviously it's not that. Excuse after excuse after excuse. And so some people won't allow themselves to fully access it. Or their ego says, well, this isn't a way to transcend technique, it's just another technique. They don't understand. So what they do is they reduce what they're able to get from this. And so if you're looking for someone who practices reconnective healing, look up their websites, Google them, make sure that they have transcended their energy healing techniques, because if they're still also doing techniques, they are not able to bring this through as well as the people who have the full gift of it, who do transcend the technique. So it's pretty much like, do you have a child?
No.
Okay. Do you remember learning to ride the bicycle?
Oh, yes.
Did you learn with training wheels? You learned with training wheels,
yes.
Right? Okay.
I was scared.
Yeah. Yeah. And were you excited or a little frightened when your parents took the training wheels off?
Of course, I was
a little nervous.
A little bit nervous.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is our energy healing techniques are pretty much like training wheels on a bicycle. They help us get a sense of balance. But at a certain time, we need to take them off. The funny thing is, we don't have parents around us often in the energy healing world. We just have people who want to sell us training wheels. So you get one set of training wheels, we'll call them the Reiki training wheels as an example. And you use that, but you realize that you haven't mastered healing, you've only mastered a healing technique. So you don't have parents around saying, now you have to take the training wheels off. So you go back to the training wheel store where they're happy to sell you a second set of training wheels. Then you learn the Qigong technique or the Jinshin technique, or you learn techniques where they tell you to pretend to put an invisible zipper up in front of you to protect you from something, or where you're supposed to shake off negative energy. And pretty soon it's like having 24 sets of training wheels on a bicycle. Sure, you get more training wheels, and you'll master the bicycle with training wheels, maybe. But you'll never master the bicycle itself, because the true gift of the training wheels comes only when we remove them.
Yeah.
The true gift of the technique comes only once we transcend the technique. It doesn't come from adding more. Technique is that step to allow us to get our toes wet, maybe, but we have to remove that for the gift. Now, a different aspect of your question was expectation. You see, there's expectation and there's expectancy. They're two different things, slightly. So, for example, let's say person A makes an appointment to come in for a healing session. So maybe they want to come in and see me for a healing session. I'm using this as an example. Don't try to come see me for sessions. I don't really tend to do them well. This is why I'm teaching people. But let's say, for example, that person A came in. Let's say you came in to see me for a healing session. And you scheduled it 6 months in advance, waiting for when I, would be here in Zagreb. And then you had someone take care of your business responsibilities and someone to watch the home or to watch your mother, all those different things. You flew out here, you took a hotel room. You come and maybe you have an assistant answers the door, has you fill out paper, has you pay some money, take off your shoes, lie down comfortably. 10 minutes later, I walk into the room. I walk over to you. I go like this for a second, and I leave. Well, you might not be too happy with that. And you probably won't choose to accept a healing from it because you had certain expectations that I didn't meet. You traveled, you spent money, this, that, and in your mind you're thinking, well, let's see, the doctor should at least spend an hour and a half with me, should at least talk to me for another half an hour first, should at least have a conversation with me afterwards, and then we should go have coffee, and the degree to which I don't meet your expectations, this detailed painting you created, you're not going to allow yourself to have a healing. But maybe someone who's taking the seminar this weekend is in a restaurant that I walk into Saturday night. They're there with local friends. And they say, oh, there's that guy who's teaching me, the crazy guy who's teaching the seminar this weekend. Will you please let my friends feel it in their hands? And I say, sure, I'll let them feel it for a second. So the friend holds his hand up, I let him feel it for a moment, but the maitre d' in the restaurant is busy. It's Saturday night, and he says, we have to go. So I leave after only a few seconds. He might get a call the next day from his friend who says, guess what? I had psoriasis on the right side of my face and body all of my life. So do my brothers and my uncles and all the guys on my father's side of the family. And I woke up this morning and it was gone. So why did his leave? And why did you not have the healing? Again, it's the difference between expectation and expectancy. Your expectation was you created a detailed picture of what it should be. This person had none. He just was in a wide open state of expectancy. Oh, well, something kind of unexpected and cool. Wonder what it is. Opens up for the gift of the universe to fly through. Our attachment becomes our limitation. Yeah. Our willingness to experience without that attachment is the key to freedom.
Is this why kids are so receptive to this energy?
Kids can learn them much more quickly because kids don't have the ego of saying, I need another certificate and look what I've mastered. And kids don't have the fear that is so prevalent in the healing community, because the energy healing techniques teach us fear and lack and limitation. They tell us to protect ourselves in a white flame or a purple flame or a gold flame, or shake the negative energy off, pull up a zipper, spray ourselves with alcohol. Every time we bring a protection into the equation, what are we bringing into that equation? Fear. And fear creates more fear. But healing doesn't reside in fear or lack or limitation or the illusion of separation or darkness. Healing resides in love and oneness. prosperity, abundance, light. We can't give a gift we're unwilling to receive. We can't stand in fear protecting ourselves and offer healing that resides in love. We can't be adding crystals and pendulums to ourselves and all sorts of amulets to help us be more. We can't stand in that lack and facilitate healing that resides in abundance. We can't stand in the dark and facilitate healing that's comprised of light, that resides in light. So it becomes a challenge. And the first challenge is to allow ourselves to be childlike, open, and willing to experience. Here, want to try something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Put that down for a minute, your little notepad.
Yeah.
And just give me, here, just uncross your leg, give me one of your hands. Give me this, it's closer. Okay, great. Open your fingers a little bit. Just like that, open. Good. Got them there? Okay. Now, when I bring my hand in, see the movement that's going on in your fingers?
Yeah.
I'm just letting my hand sort of float. If I push it down, it floats back up. I'm not pushing, I'm not sending. I'm really sort of, I'm like listening with a different sense. So I see when your fingers begin to move or respond like that, and I play with it because it's fun. That is not a technique. What would a technique be? Move 3 times counterclockwise and then bypass this area and then sweep the energy up the front and down the back and off to the east. If I were focused on technique, I wouldn't be able to allow for this to happen. But it's the openness and the playfulness. Now, see how it's getting stronger? What's different? I'm moving further away. Now, this is not energy healing. Energy would get weaker with distance. This is more than energy. It includes everything we can access through any and all of our energy healing techniques combined, and then brings us out in this huge spectrum of energy, light, and information that science has not seen here before. See how that got softer again, your movement? See how it gets stronger again? Now, tell me, isn't this cool? Don't you want to learn it? Don't I have a fun life? Now, that's not, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your notepad away from you, but I just wanted your hand for a moment so you could, what did it feel like when I was doing that?
Wow. It was very exciting, very playful, especially when my hand went out of my control. It was like me observing it in my hand, completely ignoring whatever was in my brain or in my body, like doing something on its own. It's funny. It's funny.
So, we talked about a little bit about what happens at the weekend.
Yeah.
By the end of that weekend, by that Sunday, I can pretty much make you 2 promises. A, you'll be able to do anything. You'll be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that I can do. And B, you'll be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that any human being on this planet can do, whether they've got walls filled with certificates or whether they were raised in a cave and a mountain top in Tibet and fed grains of seed, each one flown in the beak of an individual chakra-colored bird, or whether they moved to Brazil and changed their last name to Of God, it doesn't matter the story. It only matters our willingness to transcend the story. The key is, can we let go of the technique that says, I did this and I did that and I know this and I know that and I, me, it's all about me. And rise above that instead and allow ourselves to become the witness and the witnessed, the seer and the seen, the observer and the observed. And when we're willing to do that, we find that the universe displays the beauty of the healing process before us. It's as if we're invited into the home of the healing process. But last I checked, when you're invited into someone's home, it's simply not appropriate to rearrange their furniture.
Yeah, that's not very welcome.
No. But instead, when we sit back and experience the beauty and perfection of the design, we observe it, we see more and more what depth it actually carries. This is a far greater reward. This is what's so exciting about reconnective healing. It allows us, and requires us at the same time, to stop rearranging the furniture, to stop trying to figure out that we know what that person needs and what form their healing should take, as if we understand the mind of God. Instead, it allows us to become a catalyst by our willingness to observe.
As you have just demonstrated, my hand just went very shaky when you went further.
Pulled further away.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not.
Sorry, I'm shifting positions.